1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome back. It's day 3 of the Barre Chords series. I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you're doing well with B flat and B minor. In today's lesson, we're going to take a look at a new chord called B7. You've probably encountered this chord a few times in songs, and you probably said to yourself, do I really want to do this, or could I get a capo? Well, I'm going to show you how to conquer B7. We're going to go through a step-by-step process to learn how to play it, get comfortable and confident with it so you can start using it in songs and not being afraid of B7. So get tuned up, and I'm going to lead you through B7. All right, so first things first, good playing position, and then I'll also mention your thumb position is going to be of utmost importance again here. So the shape of B7 that we'll use is we're going to take our index finger and we're going to completely bar the 2nd fret here. Now, I will mention this little trick right off the top here. You don't want to just lay your finger completely flat like this, where your nail is kind of angled towards the sound hole here. You ultimately want to kind of use the outside portion of your index finger. There's a little harder cartilage in there, so it's going to help you press down the strings more. So if you're doing it really flat and you're using the pad here, it's pretty soft on your finger, so that might be the reason why you're getting some dead notes. So try turning your hand just slightly. Now, in doing that, you also want to make sure that your thumb is right behind, and I'll show an overhead view of that right now to check that out so you can see the good position of your thumb and index finger. So I'm pinching here on the 2nd fret with my thumb and index finger, and I'm kind of using the outside part of my index. My thumb is not wrapped up here, my thumb is down. So having my thumb down on the middle of the back of the neck allows me to really get a straight finger here. And that's really important, because if your finger's bent at all, if you see the knuckles popped up, that might be why you're getting some of these dead notes. So nice and flat, and just take and drag your thumb and listen, make sure all those notes are ringing. If they're not, make adjustments. So the next step here is to add your middle finger to the C string on the 3rd fret. So we have a fully barred 2nd fret, and then middle finger will go here on the C string on the 3rd fret. And that is our B7 shape. These 2 fingers, they can be lazy, they don't need to do anything. So that's how the B7 should sound when you play it. I thought today was a good time to mention something called movable chords. Now, I'm going to just kind of briefly talk about this, but I'm going to attach a PDF to the description so you can kind of go through and see all of this laid out for you, and I will lay out all of the chords in that. So, but what I want to mention is, so we have our B7 here on the 2nd fret. Now, if I were to take this chord and I were just to slide it up 1 fret, what would that chord be? Do you know? Well, because C comes right after B, if you were to move up the chord from the 2nd fret, B7, and move it up to the 3rd fret, it now becomes C7. So that's the really cool thing about bar chords, is if you learn the shape, you can move the shapes around to make them different chords. So depending on where you're playing something in a song, you have access to a bunch of different chords right there. So I went from B7 to C7. Now if I were to move up another fret so that I'm barring the 4th fret, now it's C sharp 7, and one more, it becomes D7. Sorry, I got a little sleeve deadening there, and so forth. And this applies back to B minor, which we did in day 2. If you were to take B minor and move it up a fret, C minor. If you move it to the 4th, it's C sharp minor. Or if you have B flat here starting down on the 1st fret, if you were to move this up a fret, it becomes B, C, C sharp, D. So now you have access to a whole slew of chords because you learned how to bar. Now, the reason you're able to do that is because you're covering all of the strings. It doesn't necessarily work if you're just playing a G chord and trying to move it up the fretboard. Doesn't work that way. Just a little brief, synopsis there of movable chords. As I mentioned, I'll leave a little link in the description so you can check that out on the website, and I'll kind of outline the whole thing on the PDF for you. All right, so the first step in building confidence in this chord is isolating it. So I want you just to take your fretting hand and make the shape of the B7 chord. So in doing that, I want you to try to press it down, and then you're going to release it and then press it back down. So what this does is it's kind of just building your muscle memory. It's also building your confidence in this chord so that you get a lot of repetitions where you're not worried about your strumming hand. You're just solely focused on the chord. And with some of these bar chords, you need to do that because they're a little trickier. If you start having too many moving pieces, then it can kind of start falling apart. So what you want to do here, we're just going to fret the chord, release it, and press it back down. So this is going to be a lot of just repetitions. I'll just do a 4 count. We'll hold the chord for a 4 count. We'll release it for a 4 count, and then we'll just keep going back and forth and ultimately building up some confidence here. So here we go. So we'll start with the chord compressed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Compress. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. Compress. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3. Keep it going. Compress. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3. Last one. Compress. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. All right, so now let's apply a strumming pattern to this. So the strumming pattern we're going to use is derived from the strumming series. So we're going to do down, 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 up, down, up. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. If you haven't seen the strumming series, go check it out. It's on the channel. I think you'll dig it. So we're just going to do that. We're going to build some endurance here. So as you're practicing these at home by yourself, I want you to practice for a little while and then take a break. If your hands start feeling crampy or anything like that, take a little break, do a little stretch. I like to kind of just take my fingers and stretch them out in front of me or over my head, just to kind of keep everything loose. You don't want to feel any tension or pain when you're playing these chords. If things start getting a little achy, take a break, come back to it. So it's all about kind of doing a combination of rest and playing. So here we go with the strum pattern, doing this, just kind of building a little bit of endurance. So we'll try to do the strum pattern maybe 6 to 8 times. So work on trying to get all of these notes to ring out. If they're not, I want you just to go back and make an adjustment and try the chord again. So here we go together. Take a deep breath, smile, have some fun with this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, 3, down. You're getting it. Come on. A few more times. Last one. Down, 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 up. Good job, guys. Let's move on to a chord progression. So if you've practiced that, you're feeling good about the B7 and you're ready to start moving around a little bit, we're going to do a 2-chord progression here. Keep it nice and simple. We're just going to go from A7, which I'm going to play with my middle finger on the C string 1st fret. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to use this to slide to the 3rd fret for B7 so that I can just drop my index finger behind it. So watch that move really quick and just try this with your left hand with me. So you're starting here on A7, you're sliding over to the 3rd fret, and then you drop the bar down on the 2nd fret. So we'll do the strum pattern 2 times per chord, and we're just going to go back and forth. And we're going to do this really nice and slow. There's no rush. The most important thing is getting all of these notes to ring out so that the uke can breathe, sound beautiful. That's what we want. So here we go. Starting on the A7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down. Keep your eyes on your fingers, on your fretting hand. Was that fun? All right, for the last segment here, we're going to do a full chord progression. So this is a chord progression that you would commonly find maybe in a blues song, jazz song, or even just in Hawaiian music. And that's what the dominant 7 chord, or the B7 that we're learning, lends itself to, is kind of that bluesy sound, which really is nice with the uke. So the chord progression we'll use here is E7, and you can check out the diagram below. A7, and then B7. So what I'm doing here, I play the E7, and I take my middle finger and I slide it back to the 1st fret for A7. So watch that move again. E7, slide the middle finger back, and then my middle finger's already in position. No extra moves here to slide over to the 3rd fret. Keep wanting to go to the 4th fret, but slides over to the 3rd so that we can play the B7 chord here. We'll do 2 times through the strumming pattern on each chord. We'll go nice and slow. I'll count us through it. Take a deep breath. Get ready for this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, A7. To B7, back to E7, to A7, sounding bluesy, isn't it? To the B7, back to E7. All right, home stretch. Stick with me, guys. Here we go. To the A7. To the B7. And end on E7. All right, this is a segment I like to call Side Notes. I know you watched this whole video to learn how to play B7, and now I'm going to show you the way to cheat at it. Here's what we do. If you don't want to play the bar chord version of B7, I strongly suggest that you learn how to play the bar chord version of it, but if you want to play a song right now and you're still trying to learn how to play the bar chord version, you can play B7 like this. Ring finger on the 4th fret, G string, middle finger on the C string on the 3rd fret, and then index finger on the E string on the 2nd fret. So it's technically a B major 7, not a B7, but if you kind of take your hand and roll it down so that the bottom string is muted, you still get that B7 sound. So if you want to, kind of exchange this chord in just for the time being, it's totally cool. I don't recommend that you do it the whole time, but if you just need it as a placeholder, I just care about you guys and I just wanted to give you a little something to get through the day. I really appreciate you watching this video. I really enjoy that you guys are learning with me. If you guys have questions, want to share your experience so far with bar chords or strumming or the Kickstart series or any of these series, leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And I will mention, as long as we're talking about things below the video, you probably noticed there's a little string of merchandise items there. We worked hard and kind of designed some new stuff. If you guys want to represent All for Uke, wherever you are, whether that's Spain or Zimbabwe, I think I just met somebody from the other day. Check out some of that merch. It helps support the channel. It helps support the free content. Real quick, if you guys like this uke, I left a link in the description below to check it out. It is a AKT26 Acklot solid top tenor uke. If you like how it sounds, if you're looking for something that's at a really low price point for what you're gonna get, check this out. I like how it sounds. Check out the link below. Last but not least, Check out the PDFs that we have at allforuke.com. I have exercises that will help you work on bar chords, as well as some of the movable chord stuff that we talked about today. I think all of that stuff will help you to progress, be more comfortable, be more confident in playing bar chords, and just continue to grow as a ukulele player. If you love the free content, there's a little link to show some love below. I thank you so much. My name's Kevin, and I'll see you back here for day 4. Keep at it, guys. You're doing great. Have fun playing the uke.